next month's meeting, we have a lot of athletic awards and science awards, etc., to celebrate next month. Was there any public comment, Kathy? No public comment, so if I could get a motion to seal the executive session minutes from tonight.
Motion to seal.
Oh, no, we can't, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry, I'm so sorry.
We're not done yet. We're not
Oh,
done.
right.
We are recessing that executive session so that we wouldn't be gone any longer, and then going back at the end. So we will seal those at the end of executive session when we come back out after that. So next we'll move on to consent agenda, and I just want to say that with the consent agenda, we will be voting tonight only on B and C3. The other things do not need to be on this agenda, so we will not be voting on those. So the consent agenda is just for 5B and 5C3.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Move on to superintendent's recommendations and issues.
Recommendation 2020-09, that the school committee, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the request of two families to homeschool their children for the 2019-2020 school year.
So moved. Second.
Discussion?
Yes.
Mrs. McBride.
I know that I can't disapprove of homeschooling, actually I don't. But I do disagree when children go into homeschooling this time of the year. It sends up red flags for me. So on principle and on concern, and with concern for those students, I, after the first of the year, vote no. So I'm just going to vote no for that reason.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
I'm
Thank you.
Recommendation 2020-10, that the school committee, upon the recommendation of the superintendent and supported by the policy and curriculum subcommittee, approve the second reading of the code of conduct policy JFC.
so moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Ramos?
Just a question. Were there any additional revisions made to this policy since the first reading?
No, there's no changes made.
And either Ms. Reich or Dr. Santa, would you be able to just refresh everybody's recollection as to what the genesis of this policy and what we're doing here so that we can have it for posterity?
So the code of conduct policy was updated when Dr. Bryce came on board, and it reflects numerous policies that we've had within the district. The code of conduct is also part of the school handbook, and it guides the disciplinary actions within schools, also the support that we provide to students to help them develop the appropriate behaviors. So one of the things that's unique about this policy is that it has a matrix that describes different behaviors and different levels of classroom supports and interventions. So there are two parts to the policy itself, which guides the procedure, and the matrix.
I would just like to add that this policy is really solid. And
Long time coming.
it has been a long time coming, and it got one of, with everything that went on last year, we really started to pay a lot of attention to it, and we asked Dr. Bryce when he came on to really look at this, and so just so everyone knows, this will be replacing our current code of discipline policy, which is terribly outdated, cumbersome, just not adequate, yeah. So this is a massive improvement, and I want to thank Dr. Bryce because I know, right when you came here, I remember coming in to meet with you maybe for one of the numerous times, and you just had a team upstairs working on this. So a lot of work went into it, and it's really going to be a really great guide, I think, for administrators and teachers. So thank you so much. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Unless there's more discussion, no. All opposed?
Recommendation 2020-11, that the school committee, upon the recommendation of the superintendent and supported by the policy and curriculum subcommittee, approve the second reading of the physical restraint and crisis intervention policy, JHFAA.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, I have.
Mr. Cabral?
Jonathan, I just hope that there will be people trained, especially in this building, on each floor, so that a person doesn't have to come from A building to go to D building to restrain someone.
So I think two things. One, restraints are very rarely used, but in those rare instances where a student is a danger to self or others, and they are unable to be de-escalated and talked down, and restraint becomes the option for safety. We do want to make sure that all of our staff, or enough staff, on all floors and all buildings are trained. That staff should be both paraprofessionals as well as special education teachers. And I know that's something that I've had a conversation with our new Student Support Services Director, Mr. Ed Clark.
Any other questions or comments?
I was just going to comment that I believe the only changes since the last meeting were some inclusion of some legal references. Am I correct?
That's correct, yes. And just for some background for the audience, this policy was recommended for an update by our attorney, and so she provided the language for us, and it guides the use of physical restraint within our schools.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Thank you. Is the physical restraint reporting form an exhibit, or is it part of the policy? And if that form needs to change, do we need to reapprove the policy?
It is an exhibit.
Okay. I'm just looking, the copy that I have doesn't
No, because
say so.
Mr. Carly just reminded me, I knew there was, I had an issue and I couldn't remember what it was. And it was that the legal reference was on the exhibit and not
And not on the, okay. Just as long as we can update that without having to readdress the entire.
Yeah, I think that's okay because it's an exhibit, right?
Yeah, an exhibit,
They can be changed.
Okay.
the subcommittee does exhibits.
I believe that was part of our discussion at the subcommittee.
It was. So we'll just put the code in the corner and be all set. Any other questions or comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Recommendation 2020-12, that the school committee, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, approve the technology special construction fiber connection RFP.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
So I'll
Mr.
just
Bradshaw?
speak a little bit about this. This is a recommendation that actually came before the subcommittee, and it might have come before the full committee some number of months ago, but because of the RFP process, we were not eligible for E-rate, which would provide us a rebate of approximately 50% of expenses. So in order to get that rebate, we had to go back out for RFP. There's a copy of the RFP that our confidential secretary has, if anybody's interested. There were 3 companies that bid. Again, the RFP, and to be qualified for E-rate, it required you to, each company to provide a bid for lit services and dark fiber, which each one has. The recommendation by the Director of IT is to go with i3 Broadband, which is a local company formerly Full Channel, and we would be going with the dark fiber option, which is $189,000 and an annual maintenance cost of $4,830. That is the recommendation from the subcommittee this evening.
Are there any other questions or comments?
know that the memo said that I3 was the lowest price bidder. I just don't really necessarily understand the information that's contained.
Rose went over this, Adam, at the budget meeting, and
Rose is here, she wants,
here.
she'd like to.
Rose, can you do that quick, because
I can give it a shot, but
because it was so, she did it in such a great way, where everybody really understood. Would you mind, Rose?
I don't have my,
Director
I
Muller?
don't have my cheat notes with me.
But just the way you described how one has to rely on the other, and then one does it all themselves, and
Right,
That was
and
just
just,
helpful.
I'll give her a little bit of an introduction. What I recall was that Ocean, which is the first company that bid $223,875, runs their fiber. They don't run their own fiber, they hire Cox Communication to do that. And so we would kind of be paying Ocean to do what we would get from Cox at perhaps a little bit of a cheaper cost. So again, and I think they use an existing fiber network that is some number of years old and would not, would eventually need to probably be replaced as well. But please,
Yes,
a little bit more information.
That's exactly what it is. So Ocean's bid involved a fiber network that has been in place since the days of ARA funding by the federal government, and they would build laterals, fiber laterals to that network, and it wouldn't be proprietary for our use. It is shared amongst who knows. And then Cox's network is already in place, and it's subsidized to the school districts through the Department of Education. That network is slowly becoming not cost effective for the Department of Education, and they anticipate at some time in the near future transferring those costs to school districts. So what Cox would be doing here is transferring those costs prematurely, and we would be basically paying for what the state of Rhode Island pays now. And then I3 Broadband, formerly doing business as Full Channel, provided us with the solution that we would want, which would be our own fiber coax conduit with fiber cables, fiber strands within that.
Thanks. What is the difference between dark fiber and lit services?
Dark fiber is the fiber that is run and it's not lit. Once it becomes usable, there's equipment that we need to purchase to make it lit or active, Mr. Ravens.
Yes, so think of dark fiber as the raw product. Think of the lit services as after we've hooked the equipment up to it, then we could actually use it.
Yeah.
So all of these numbers that are on here are numbers that we will ultimately be paying for?
No.
No?
No, we would be paying for the $189 for dark fiber, that would be the conduit being run, and the annual maintenance. But with the E-rate funding, it would be half of that because we're a 50% eligible district for E-rate.
But once it's lit and it becomes a lit service, we don't have to pay them for their provision of lit services?
We'll maintain that.
No, because we're going to do that. Our team will be doing that.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry to make everybody go through.
No, my practice makes perfect.
Thank you.
Are there any
Thank
other
you, Director Muller.
questions or comments about that one? No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Recommendation 2020-13, that the school committee, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, supported by the Budget Facilities Subcommittee, approve the FY21 bottom line budget request.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
So I will start by saying we had what I thought was a great subcommittee meeting on Monday night. A lot of good discussion. I think it's important when people have different views and they share them, and we're able to kind of understand everyone's position. The subcommittee is recommending no changes to what Dr. Bryce presented at the workshop, which is a bottom line FY21 budget of $57,098,862.
Thank you, Ryan.
I have some.
Mrs. McBride?
The other night I mentioned that I would like to see another $1 million added to the budget. And the reason I said that was because the first set of numbers that we came up with were $1 million higher than the final number. I know how much time and effort Dr. Bryce and his team has put into this budget. It's a bare bones budget, but I thoroughly respect the decision they've made. So for that reason, and because I talked to some people whose advice I trust, and I'm going to support the bottom line budget that Dr. Bryce presented. And so that helps me close the loop from the comment I made Monday night. It's not easy, but that's what I decided to do.
Thank you. Mrs. Reich? Mrs. McBride said it very succinctly. I, however, came to the opposite conclusion. I will not be voting for the budget, not because I don't have faith in all the people that are here at the table, but because when it comes down to it, I don't feel like that $1 million or less takes care of our kids. And that's why I'm saying. Thank you very much for everybody's effort and time.
Anyone else have any comments?
Yeah, I have one comment.
All right.
Jonathan, if you could, please, besides,
Just so everyone knows who you are, just say your name.
thank you very much.
She said she made me laugh tonight. She did.
Hopefully it works.
Would you please, besides the 3.985 percentage, would you please calculate the percentage above, not last year's budget, but the budget previous, which is actually higher than last year's budget, which means that the percentage would be smaller than the 3.9. It's just to amuse me, basically. You know, I mean, if they heard it was a smaller percentage, you know, and the thing is, we all know that we were cut last year. So I just wanted to.
We're cut the year before and the year before.
Well, I mean,
If you,
Slash and burn.
yeah, so we can do that.
would you, I mean, I could.
Thank you, Victor. Mr. Reynolds?
I guess, you know, when we talked about this at the workshop meeting, I was skeptical of the wisdom of reducing the ask from the original 58.2 million and change to the current 57,098,862. And thinking about this from the perspective of what our duty and obligation is to make sure that we have the funding necessary to provide the academic programs that our children in the district need, not just deserve, need in order to be successful and to live fulfilling lives. I've had a lot of time to both to think and to talk with Dr. Bryce, other members of Dr. Bryce's team, with respect to why they think it's appropriate, why they think it is ultimately a better decision to ask for the reduced amount. And it was an easy thing for me to do, but I, like Ms. McBride, have come to the conclusion that I'll support this budget, vote for it. And I would say that is in no small part due to the confidence that I have in the information that's been provided to me by Dr. Bryce and his team about not only what they'll be able to do with the money that they're asking for, but with the manner in which they want to go about managing their role in the district and the relationships, the political relationships sometimes, that need to be developed in order to have a successful, to be successful in the roles that they have running the school. So I would say, although I think that if we had another $1,165,000 added to this budget, it would be a good thing if we got that money, and we would spend it well and wisely, and there are needs that we have to deliver the types of services that we want to be able to provide for education in Bristol Warren. I think that the budget is a justifiable, supported budget that we can go in and defend and make a good case for, and that if we are funded with it, with this ask, we will have what we need to then build upon going forward. I will support the budget and strongly advocate that when we're before the Joint Finance Committee next month, that it needs to be fully funded, because if it isn't fully funded, all of the things that I just said about what we're able to do just aren't true. So this isn't a question of trying to negotiate. This is a question of saying this is the absolute bottom line, and that's so. Thank you for helping to convince me and inspiring that faith in me, and I support this.
Mrs. Ellsworth.
So, I want to thank Dr. Bryce a lot, because I kind of tortured him a little bit. Knowing finance and going in to something that I've been doing for almost 30 years is really difficult. It's difficult when you know the impact is your kids, and the impact is your community, and the teachers, and the betterment of everybody. And I think all 9 of us sit here wanting the same goal, and I think that's what's pretty amazing. We may not agree with how we get to that goal, but we all want the same goal. I've had great conversations with trying to figure out different ways of how to utilize general fund. And I think the impact is going to be, we're going to have to change how we do business, how we operate. We're not going to be able to put things how we've done it in the past. We're going to have to be creative, because we have to utilize every single dollar and be more cost effective. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think anytime we spend money out of general fund, we always have to remember, how does it impact our students? How does it impact our teachers? And are we getting the results we want? And I think if everybody, including those at the school level, parents, our community, realizes that we're doing this, and that we're all marching to the same goal, I feel that we will be successful. I think it's been a lot of years of turmoil and just not great relationships, but now is the time to change it. I feel that these 9 members in the community, out in the teachers and the administrators and you and your team, I believe we can change it. I do. I think if we go and look line by line and say, should it really be here? Could we get grants? Should it be an enterprise fund? Should we talk to the boosters and see if they can help us with sports and band and look at other communities? I think we can leverage what other people have done, and we just haven't done it. I don't think it's recreating the wheel. I think it's just looking out beyond our district and seeing how everybody else does it. I believe we can be successful, and I believe we can look and be effective with every dollar we spend. And I appreciate all of your effort in your office, I know we have 3 principals here. I know it's not easy, and I know it's a daunting task, and I really appreciate all the effort that you guys are putting into it, because it really means a lot to all of us. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any comments? John? You're all set? Okay. Well, I certainly know how much time and effort and thought went into this process as well, and I just want to thank everyone as well. Everyone, really, at this table in your cabinet. I know we've had, I think when maybe people don't realize, so I'm just going to say it, when you're in a process like this, it sort of becomes all-consuming. And I just want people to know that, because it's really like every waking moment. And sometimes when you should be sleeping, that you're thinking about this, because it is so important to all of us, that we try our best to get this right. So, with all of that said, I thank everyone for their efforts, and I thank the community and all our teachers and admin and staff for their support, and for all of us just working as a team toward this, toward getting the most we can get and doing the best we can do with it. That's what we do. A ton of work went into this, and I really believe in the approach that Dr. Rice is taking here, and I hope that everyone will come to the JFC meetings and express their thoughts, and listen to the presentation, and be supporters for education in our community. So, thank you. Is there anything else anyone wants to add? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Hey,
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to subcommittee reports and initiatives. First is policy and curriculum.
okay, I think our next meeting is next Monday, which is this March 2nd at 6 p.m. at the Oliver Building. We are in the process of building our agenda right now, and as of now, we're going to be discussing developing an advertising policy and also an online fundraising policy. There might be a couple of things that land on there, but we're not sure. Everyone is always welcome to attend, and feedback is appreciated. Thank you.
Thanks, Carly. Next is budget and facilities. That's Ryan.
Our next meeting, I'll get my calendar here, is March 16th, third Monday in March. Our first JFC meeting is Wednesday, the 4th, here, I believe.
Correct.
Again, I'll echo Aaron's comments. Please come out and support, and hope to see everyone at the Budget and Facility Subcommittee meeting on the 16th.
Thanks, Ryan. And Adam with personnel and contract negotiations.
Personnel and Contract Negotiations Subcommittee met for the third time regarding the BWEA CBA last night. We will be beginning negotiations in earnest within the next couple of weeks, meeting with the BWA representatives and hopefully working, the expectation is that we'll be working collaboratively and cooperatively toward a new contract so that we can continue to build the momentum that we have going in this district.
I don't know the protocol for now.
We need to make a move to reconvene. Reconvene. I'll second. Adam will make the motion.
Oh, great. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
When we come out, we're not making any decisions or.
We're
When
sealing
we
the
come
executive session.
out, we'll seal